Broadcasting from the heart of downtown Hollywood. This is SoFloRadio.com.
SoFloRadio.com presents Catherine B. and the Echo Revolution, a call to action for those who know things need to change. From what connects us to nature to how we eat and live, every choice we make can create symbiotic living on Earth. Green consciousness is a revolutionary shift in paradigm to heal our planet and our personal well-being in this generation. Be a part of the shift that is happening. And now, here's Catherine B.
Hey all, I'm Catherine B. and welcome to the Echo Revolution.
Woo!
Woo-hoo! We are going to change the world today with how we drink. And I'm not talking about vodka, but I'm talking about... sorry, George.
You're under false pretenses.
Actually, we could do conscious cocktails, but we have such a great show today, and so happy that Sunset's here, and thank you, George. We are going to have 2 revolutionary tips that are going to change your mind. You're going to be mind blown by how simple it is to do things differently, consciously, and you can change your health and change the earth at the same time. Before we get into all that, though, I have a special surprise. Last show, we got cut a little early, and I had Val Sidlicker on the show, and she has offered to do an interview with us so that we can talk about sacred activism. And I want to tell you a little bit about Val before we begin. She is the founder of Inspired Life Workshops and co-founder of Expand the Love and the Zen Cruise. And she has been building community and empowering individuals and groups both nationally and internationally for over 15 years. Val has been helping Earth and has been an expert in going deeper, and she gets us to explore the interconnectedness of how we are with all other life. And I think it's amazing because that's what the show is about today.
Exactly.
And we will make a difference by practicing sacred activism, even when it comes to simply looking at how we drink water. So, welcome, Val. She's online, and here we go. How are you?
Hi, Catherine. Great to be with you again.
Yeah, so glad that you can be back on. So I wanted to just read a little bit more about sacred activism and then ask you a couple questions. And these are your own words, which I was so, like I said in the last show, it really changed how I saw Earth and you and what you do. The path of spiritual activism is the coming together of spirituality and activism. It is not about any form of dogma. It is simply activism that comes from the heart, not just the head, an activism that is compassionate, positive, kind, fierce, and transformative, just like you, Val. It focuses as much on what we are for as on what we are against. And it's rooted in understanding our interdependence and works to end the suffering of all beings, even our opponents. Nothing could be more inspiring and more rewarding than being the change we want to see in the world, within and without. So, Val, I'm going to hand it over to you. Tell us more. I find it fascinating.
Thank you, Catherine. I'm here with my 15-month-old, and he's not feeling very well, so we may hear him in the background a little bit. Thank you for the intro, and hold on one second.
Hey, Sagan, how are you? See, Val is a perfect...
I know.
She's a perfect activist.
I know. We got a couple of us here today. So with sacred activism, when people normally think of activism, and when I first got into activism, how it was for me was that, it's something outside that we're focusing on to make a difference, like standing up for a cause and, putting our actions out. And what I realized along the way was that transformation, true transformation, must begin within ourselves. Because there is so much right here inside of you, inside of me, inside of each one of us that we need to connect with and we need to heal, considering our perspectives, considering our health, considering any traumas that we experience as a child. All of these things we need to go deep into the root of who we are and feel our own connectedness to life. And it's from that place that we open our heart to compassion, to love, to empathy, the ability to feel with our world, with other beings, human and non-human. And it's from this space that true activism takes place. And so sacred activism is about, once again, reconnecting with ourselves, discovering our gifts and our superpowers, and how we can live them into the world to really make a difference. And then we, find that cause that moves us, that calls to us to stand up for. That's where we really make that difference from the inside out.
And I love that you said superpowers, because I love to think of myself in the smallest ways being a superhero every time that I don't buy into some system, every time that I question, why am I buying this, or what am I doing as a consumer? And would you explain one thing about the process? Because I think a lot of people are just beginning to understand.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry. Say that after me again. I'm sorry, Catherine. It's really challenging being with him, not feeling well right now.
Okay. I was asking you about the process, why it's important, just as much as reaching the goal itself when you're going into becoming a sacred activist.
The process of it, is that what you're asking?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that we need to begin by grounding into who we are, who we truly are, and our gifts.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I think we'll
baby.
do? We're just going to take a musical break for 1 second. Okay?
Let's do that. We'll come right back.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
We are stars, we are girls, we are and we got to get ourselves back to the dark.
Getting back to the garden. That is so important for all of us. Hey, Sagan, are you feeling better?
I hope so. He wants the phone. So
Put him on.
Back to where we were. Getting back
Okay,
to where we were.
thanks.
He doesn't like it when I'm on the phone because my full focus is not on him, which we can totally understand, having a little one. So we're going to go outside and see if that helps a little bit. And, we were talking about in the last show, which was, grounding ourselves and reconnecting with nature and letting that be a starting point for really everything that we need. We've been living in a dominant paradigm of separation, that separates humans from the natural world for so long that it's become this sort of thing that we take for granted. Like, it just is what it is. And we desperately need a shift to happen. And seeing the earth and seeing the universe, seeing the world, seeing each other as sacred is something that has just disappeared practically from who we are and how we make our choices. And when we look around, we can see that. Like, if we consider something sacred and we honor that thing, whatever that thing is, we take care of it. We are moved to support it. We recognize it as part of ourselves, connected to who we are. And if we can once again honor the earth and all living beings as sacred, as they are, all things part of the great mystery that gave birth to life, then we are going to be moved once again from the inside out, rather not from anger, but from our passion for justice, which underneath it all is love. So it's really about falling in love with ourselves, falling in love with life, falling in love with the trees and the mountains and one another, and being compassionate, seeing one another with compassion, and including those people that challenge us, right? What's going on underneath them when they're acting out in some kind of superficial behavior that isn't truly in alignment with who they are. What's really happening for them? And if we can see past the superficial behavior, many times it'll bring us into a space of compassion, feeling, wanting them to be free from suffering and wanting them to feel that kind of peacefulness within them and the ability to act from kindness.
And
so
I think
sacred activism is about calling upon ourselves to being in a space of unconditional kindness and loving kindness, compassion, empathy, and live out from that wisdom.
And I think that compassion is the beginning of self-love. And when we love ourselves more, we can love everything more, like you're saying. Mm-hmm. So it's amazing, the work that you do. And I want to attend your next workshops. So as soon as you have them, we promise to call us and let us get involved. We will just spread the love, expand the love like you have done. And I think the other thing that you have that is so interesting is when you say to love the ones that we fight the most, for example, marching against things and fighting against machines. We're all part of that. And we have to realize that when we start saying we or them, it just doesn't work. We have to be responsible from the inside out to change the world.
Definitely. And another point that's really important is this idea of being, against. We put a lot of energy into what we don't want, where we really should focus the majority of our energy on what we do want, if not all of our energy. So we never say, don't pollute the river. Instead, we say save the river. We want to put our focus and our energy on what's possible and the perfection of what we can have and what we can do, rather than, always focusing on the negative.
Right.
The negative is part of that. We understand it, but we just want to put our energy on what we're accomplishing, what we're moving towards. And that's really important.
Yeah, I think when we see the negative, we can be open to it and then always spin it positive, manifesting what we want on earth, manifesting the change. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to work on this inner world, the microcosmic orbit, and see it in the macro world. And we're going to talk about plastic using sacred activism, thanks to you today, Val. So
beautiful. And as far as what's coming up, the Zen Cruise is a big, big, beautiful.
You guys got to go. You got to go.
I've never been on a cruise ever.
Oh, it's a bubble. You are in the bubble. It is so amazing.
I like bubbles.
The love.
I know. And the magic of it is that we bring together so many incredible teachers, from yoga teachers to wisdom teachers, musicians, and all of them. Sacred activists, all people that are walking their talk and living this transformation, living this change into the world, living from a place of compassion and just through their gift, because part of that, the sacred activism is also finding that gift, right, and living your authentic self into the world. They're all doing it, and we come together in this wild, beautiful, passionate group of people, and we dive in deep to who we are. We gather these tools, we celebrate life, we really create this ripple effect. And the Zen Cruise is a seed. We come and we spend a week or 5 days, whatever it is, together, and then that's just the beginning. Now we take it into the world.
When is it again this year?
When
is the cruise again this year?
The cruise is March. It's in March of 2016,
so we got time.
March 3rd through the 7th, with some fun events that are going to take place before we take off on the 3rd. And they can find out about it on the Zen Cruise, thezencruise.com. All the information's there.
Okay.
And it's really a powerful
You have to go.
Yeah.
Give them my code name, Catherine, and you get a discount.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to buy that for my birthday gift, who's 18.
Yeah,
so
it's just it's amazing, and the music and all the other things and Val runs this whole thing. So
wow, that's
plus
amazing.
Having a 9-month-old, you are truly an activist, baby girl.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Val, thanks again. We're going to continue on and give Sagan a big kiss, and he was really good. Thank you, listeners. And
for sure.
Thank you so much. Okay. So, when we look at the world, what do you see as sacred? What do you see, Sunset?
I think everything is sacred.
But that's because you've been practicing this for a while. I mean, okay, maybe I'm going to ask George. When I was in New York and during my more jaded years, I don't know. I didn't look at water and say, oh, water's sacred. I didn't look at a tree and say, oh, a tree or a rock is sacred. It was just stuff to me. And I think that's why I feel like every other consumer out there, I understand when somewhere the transition happens and you realize that everything is sacred. But when you guys go and buy a plastic water bottle, you don't think that's sacred, right?
No. My iPhone, on the other hand.
Okay.
I mean, I put a good intention. Like, I would like, I buy less. I don't buy it as much anymore.
Okay. Well, that is why we're going to focus on our number one revolutionary tip. It is going to be to stop drinking plain water.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then I want you to stop drinking, especially plain water out of plastic. So, as Val was talking about internally and externally, microcosm, macrocosm, plastic is one of the hugest issues I have, and it's part of my diet course. And when we remove plastic from our internal world, from our health, our well-being, we also help the planet. So it's just a really interesting paradox that we've got going on right now, because when you think about a plastic water bottle, it is not sacred. In fact, it's sort of the enemy. But inside it, that's what's sacred. This water, as Americans, we don't look at it like, oh, we had to go to a well to get it. It's just everywhere. So I want us to understand that within some things that are possibly negative is the sacred element that we got to connect to on a day-to-day basis. So when you go to drink water, it's a sacred act. Yeah. And when you go to drink water in plastic bottles, guess how many we use a day in America?
Oh, my God.
Oh, no. Couple?
Couple
okay,
million.
600 million bottles a day.
Wow.
600 million. Guess how much petroleum that is a year to make? 17 million barrels. Okay. So plastic also, we think of plastic when we recycle as going away, right? There is no away. There's no away. It's a place in our mind where things that we don't want go. Old boyfriends, things you don't want to see, they go away. But plastic does not go away. In fact, every single plastic that has ever been made is still here on Earth. It's either been turned into something that is a low-grade plastic thing, or it is in a landfill or in the oceans. And it's one of the reasons that we're sick, we're fatigued, we're tired all the time, and that we have these belly bloats. And when you see, again, the internal connection to the external, you begin to realize, like, we're a world and our well-being that is drowning in plastic. So we're going to take that away concept and stop and realize we have to not use these chemicals on a day-to-day basis.
Hermes Trismegistus, the ancient Greek philosopher, had a famous axiom, which is summed up by the saying, as above, so below. This principle of life suggests that the macrocosm and the microcosm are reflections of each other, and what we see on a large scale will inevitably show up on a smaller scale, and vice versa. With this in mind, we need to look at the current health of our planet in order to understand what is happening in our own bodies.
We're up to 74 billion pounds of chemicals being produced or imported into the United States every single day. That's 250 pounds per person per day. And you know what? That number did not even include pharmaceuticals, pesticides, fuels, and food additives, 4 of the largest classes of chemicals that we know. So what are we doing? We're swimming now in chemicals.
A lot of these chemicals have never been tested for safety, and we eat low levels of this every day in our food supply that we did not evolve to consume.
We were designed by nature, and when you look at the rest of the animals that live as nature designed them to live, you see that they don't get sick. But we have extracted ourselves from natural conditions, and we have filled our life with chemicals. So the toxicity of our planet is rampant.
Our whole environment's changed. So we're under all sorts of stresses. We're under environmental stresses from levels of pollution in our environment, from plastics we're exposed to. The average newborn baby has 287 known chemicals in their umbilical cord blood before they even take their first breath.
What's upsetting to me as a dad is the recent data on air pollution. We're now seeing that air pollutants are classified as a class 1 carcinogen. And by the year 2050, air pollution is going to be the primary cause of death on the globe. It's going to beat out some of the infectious diseases. And when we hear news over in India and China about shutting down highways because there's no visibility, you say, oh, that's a good thing it's over there. But on this globe of ours, there's no away. There's no throwing something away or wishing something away. Because NASA's been tracking a phenomenon called the brown cloud, where the pollution over in Indonesia, China, will rise up on the dust storms in the jet stream, travel over to the United States within 7 days' time, and that pollution will be deposited on the western seaboard of the United States. If it's not raining there, it continues on across the entire United States.
The toxicity of our planet is really a big part of what is causing humanity to be so sick. Look around. Everybody's sick. Everybody's taking medications, going to tests, and having surgeries. What is going on?
We've become so incredibly dependent on fossil fuels, using them for everything from gas to water bottles. In fact, we rushed into it so fast that we never really thought through the consequences of a world choking on plastic, polluting us and making us sick.
So we're hearing all about BPA, we're hearing about phthalates, we're hearing about plastics causing problems, we're hearing that they're endocrine disruptors. What does that mean? It basically means they are pseudoestrogens. They have hormone signaling powers in the human body, and they take place at minute amounts. We're producing about 6 billion pounds of BPA every single year. We use it in our plastic bottles. It's a softening agent. It's what's called a plasticizing agent. Phthalates is another plasticizing agent. You know where we use that? We're using it in sunscreens. We're using it in lotions.
When you combine what those chemicals do as synthetic estrogens directly to your body, plus all of the stuff that's made by unhealthy soil exposed to these chemicals, and you put all of that in your body, you are making yourself unwell. And it's a subtle, chronic thing that happens every day.
We've reached the point now that the level of estrogen signaling from these chemicals is higher than the hormones that our kids are producing from their own organs.
Yeah.
Your hormones are part
now,
of master
more and more, we are giving children plastic. Giving your kid a plastic water bottle is like giving them a cigarette or the most toxic thing you can think of. And the reason that I am such an advocate of getting plastic out of our system is because of what they just said, is that we don't know yet just how bad it's going to get. And we can protect ourselves now by simply stopping plastic water bottles to begin with. And that's all I'm going to focus on today. But when you think about it, this plastic never goes away. It's always there. And if everyone could just stop drinking water from those plastic bottles, start recycling filtered water, the difference would be amazing. The other thing about drinking water and why I want you guys to stop drinking water is I learn everything from plants. And again, this is part of my diet course that's starting in August. But when you overwater a plant, what happens to it?
It drowns and then it dies, and that's it.
There's only so many nutrients in the soil, right? Well, in our bodies, we are striving for organic, and there's only so many nutrients that we have. So when you just constantly pour in water, you are diluting your body. And I've gone into this before, but when you bring into your water and drink your nutrients, you are constantly giving your brain, your cells, and the neurotransmitters all of the essentials that they need. So whenever you look at water, you've got to look at it like the sacred fluid that is going to save your brain, that is going to be the most important thing you can do, and to not take it as a supplement, because so many times, like this is the yellow in curcumin, which is my favorite thing to do. Curcumin is, right now I'm holding a glass of yellow water, and the curcumin is the photochemical that keeps the brain healthy and keeps the cancer away. And when you put it in your body all the time, you constantly have it in your water, the body is constantly nourished with this. Because in supplements, you take one and you usually pee it out. So it's really important if you can start drinking your water with the essentials you want. And the most important one is the first food of today, that plant right there. We have a curcumin plant on the table.
Wow.
Yeah, you can grow it yourself. So,
and then what?
Well, then you can pull up its little tiny root and not kill the whole plant.
Okay.
And you can chop it up and you can eat it. And when you stop drinking water and you put curcumin in it, then you can also combine some of the other essentials that you might like flaxseed. The omega-3s of flax are what keeps us healthy, and even if you're a vegetarian, it is the one way to get the omega-3 in the body so that the omega-3, omega-6 ratio will keep you going for a long time. Because vegetarians die just as quickly as meat eaters without that omega-3. So use your water, keep it sacred, keep the earth sacred, and keep the plastic out of our landfills. Keep the plastic out of our children. Keep the plastic out of your gut. The reason that the gut is a huge issue with plastic is that these little tiny pieces begin to change the way our bodies function. So, yeah.
We need to start being sacred to our bodies.
Yes. Yes, sacred activism starts within. And then the rest of it just goes. You start loving yourself. You start really treating yourself right. It's not just something that you do, but you look at your body and you find this self-centeredness in everything you do, which is the difference between selfish and self-centeredness. Being self-centered means that you're doing things proactively, thinking it out, seeing the consciousness. Selfish is just when you're randomly doing things just for you. So, the other thing I wanted to mention about the chemicals that we're getting rid of is that when you flush your body with fluids all the time, you're releasing a lot of chemicals out of your body with the good stuff. And you need water. So I'm not saying to get dehydrated. I hope nobody's listening going, am I going to dehydrate by not drinking water?
Catherine told me to stop drinking water.
Yeah.
No. I'm parched.
No, you actually need, if you are eating 2,000 calories a day, which is like the average guy eats about that many, you need 8 ounces of water just to process that food. But living here in Miami with the heat, we need more and more and more.
What size bar glass is 8 ounces? The shaker or the tumbler?
It's the tumbler, yeah.
The tumbler is the short one.
I would drink the big one, George.
Yeah? Okay, all right. I like saying
go
shaker.
Go big or go home. There you go.
No, we constantly get dehydrated. So when, again, we're getting our nutrients from fluids, and then one of my yoga teachers said that, get your nutrients from fluid, and then get your fiber from food, and then also get your water from food.
I have a water question.
Okay.
Because where are we supposed to be getting our water? I don't want to buy bottled water, and I'm using tap water in a Brita filter in a plastic pitcher. Well, so where do I get my water. Do I have to subscribe to one of these bottled water services to get water delivered, or can I make my own? Do I need a reverse osmosis filter? Help me, Catherine.
Okay, those are all questions for another show, George.
Oh, okay.
No, they're great questions. Yeah.
You can tell me the short answer.
Where should I
get my water?
Though you can do your own filter system at home, or you can go to Whole Foods. They have these systems in place where you can get big gallons and bring it home, or spring water. But truthfully, I would rather have you drinking tap water than buying plastic bottled water.
I stopped years ago. First of all, it's expensive. I mean, make your own water.
Yes,
evaporate your own water if you must. It's way cheaper than buying the bottled water. It's not even the water that costs anything. It's that bottle. It's that bottle that the production cost comes from, which is ridiculous. The container costs more than the product.
Yeah, and once you stop and you start getting your fresh water in other places, it does become more sacred because it's so easy to go to the gas station. I can't tell you how many times I've been there and like, just buy the plastic, and I was like, no, and I'll go back to the car and I'll have my water that's no longer cool. So actually, let me talk to you about that. So get your filtered water, get a reverse osmosis. There's wonderful products out there. I would just say, choose one that's easy for you. And then start recycling your wine bottles. Everywhere I look, everyone that sees me, they think I'm a wino because I'm always drinking out of a wine bottle in the middle of the day. But I am recycling these bottles, and put your essential, whatever you love. I love curcumin. This is called bee water, which I actually sell. But get the things that are most important. Ground up flax seeds, get your curcumin, some ginger. This is an electrolyte drink. Some Himalayan salt, chia. I'm drawing a blank. There's so much in it.
Did you already say turmeric?
Yeah. Well, turmeric is the plant, and curcumin is the phytonutrient.
All right.
Okay. And you put it all together, right? And then you just put in 4 cups of water, mix it up in a blender, and then pour it in these recycled bottles. Put it in your freezer, and then all day long you have enough water to get all the hydration you need, and it's already set up for you. So does that sound complicated?
I'm trying not to sneeze.
No, you look like this is too complicated.
No, it doesn't sound too complicated. I mean, and I'm very lazy. So.
Yeah, no, this sounds very easy for me.
Once you get into it, and then you just start realizing like how much you save. I mean, if we all were doing this, the amount of plastic that would be out of our oceans, because plastic is changing everything along with all the other toxins. But this is the number one thing that we can do.
The plankton is eating it.
The plankton is everything. It goes up the food chain.
Right.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, 275 chemicals are in children before they're even born. And so much of this is plastic-based. Now, again, plastic is great. There's some uses for it. But what we're doing now is out of control. It's got to stop. And I'm going to show you the next video, the next information as to why. And this is more about what's happening inside your body. So pay attention, all you science geeks. Take it.
There's an ancient relationship with a special organism that's been working closely with us for millions of years. Early in the cellular development of life on this planet, our cells took on a particular type of bacteria, literally brought it within our own cell walls and made it an integral part of how we make energy. This tiny organelle is called mitochondria, and the currency of this energy is a molecule called adenosine triphosphate, or ATP for short.
Mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell. They're responsible for producing the energy of the body.
ATP is the currency that your body uses to carry out hundreds of different reactions, over 300 different reactions. If you want to think a thought, if you want to feel a feeling, if you want to move a muscle, ATP is probably behind it.
You know, running a life without energy is like running a business without any money. It just doesn't work. You're constantly robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're also trying to get a little bit of an edge on energy with caffeine or with something else to make up for lost sleep. And basically, you're running your life without the thing that you need most to keep it going, and that's your natural energy.
It happens to be that the mitochondrial DNA is extremely susceptible to damage. It's super easy if you're a chemical to sneak in and harm the mitochondria. And in fact, out of the 87,000 plus industrial chemicals that are on the marketplace today, those that are researched for safety analysis, the vast majority are found to be mitochondrial disruptors. They inhibit or decrease the action of the mitochondria itself.
Another symbiotic relationship we have with bacteria, and yet another situation where environmental toxins and unnatural foods could be harming us at a core level. Is it any wonder that most people go to the doctor complaining of low energy and depression? A lack of energy at a cellular level could explain this, but there's also a lack of a critical amino acid that we're losing access to.
So many people are suffering with depression and being unhappy and sluggish. Perhaps there's a better solution, like natural foods and responsible movement, that could help the situation more than drugs.
Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that's responsible for making you happy. Most antidepressants target serotonin.
And the serotonin itself comes from tryptophan, an amino acid that comes from plants and bacteria. And we need to ingest that tryptophan. It needs to stay in a particular shape and form and get converted to serotonin so we can utilize it for thought. But unfortunately, it's very oxidant sensitive, this entire process. So if you have any toxins around, if you have not enough ATP, if you have a lot of free radicals and stress, guess what goes first? It's the tryptophan, 5-HTP, and serotonin. So unfortunately, our higher reasoning centers on this planet are under siege right now.
So the prefrontal cortex is the most human, thoughtful part of the brain. It's involved with things like forethought, judgment, impulse control, organization, planning, empathy, learning from the mistakes you make. And when you don't feed it right, it doesn't work nearly as well. So food is medicine or food is poison.
When people clean up their diet and start to get the toxins out of their system, they wake up. They're more sensitive to the world that's happening around them. They have to believe in a better world than the one that they're used to.
With a healthy brain, people are happier, physically healthier because they make better decisions. They're wealthier because they make better decisions, and they're more successful. So if you want to take care of yourself and your children and grandchildren and the world around you, take care of your brain.
Fixing your gut.
Take care of your brain, babies.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's fascinating. We don't think about plastic in our bodies. And when you drink this water in a plastic bottle, especially if it's been heated or sitting, you don't know where that's been. And it doesn't go away. It does go away from the inside of your body, though. You can clean out your system. And this whole diet course that I do, it's really a detox. What were you going to say?
I like to age my plastic bottles in the sun. I pour the water in and let it sit out in the sun for a week, put it in the trunk of my car and let it get all nice and hot and everything. And then I drink it,
I saw a girl microwave a plastic cup and then drink the water out of there because she was making tea.
Did you wince? Did you grimace?
I gave her my card and said, you need to take my course.
Yeah. So if somebody has been drinking a lot of plastic water and they wanted to stop and like detox, is this the water to this making this?
Yeah. I use in my course, this is part of the diet program because when the cells get this nutrients, the coolest thing happens. You start to lose weight because your cells are happy. They're swimming in lovely, wonderful essentials, and then they just aren't hungry. So you control the two main hunger hormones, and once you get those under control, then the weight starts to fall off. And also, it's like fine-tuning a Ferrari, baby, and you are a Ferrari. You all of a sudden just your whole mitochondria is working again, and you're feeling better, and you've got the serotonin and the tryptophan going, and then if you add the green leafies, it's amazing. So the whole course is really, it'll start, I would love you to to join it, just for fun. You too, George. But
the course or the water?
Yeah, well, the water.
Because I've been enjoying the water since you started doing this.
Yeah,
I know. I feel the difference just when we can't come in and we just drink a couple glasses. It's like.
And it didn't make me fart.
No, it didn't.
No, I was really worried about that.
Actually, no, you're going to smell sweeter. You're going to smell sweeter. You're more kissable and everything.
Yes,
it helps your breath. It helps
indeed.
everything. So.
My breath smells like sandalwood and flowers.
Sometimes, water gets boring. When you just keep doing the same thing all the time, sometimes you got to switch it up a little bit, add a little spice to it.
Yeah, well, with this course, with what we do is, you get your basics, you drink 2 gallons a day, and that's a lot. But once you get used to it, it's amazing.
Can't even tell.
Yeah, and it tastes like nothing. We call it bee water because it looks golden like honey.
It does. It looks like bee pollen.
Yeah, well, it's so cute. But anyway, so the course is all based on Mother Nature, and it gets you sleeping better. It's not always just about losing weight. It's really about realigning with nature, green consciousness, and then optimizing yourself. And then also realizing that, because most diets, they hurt Earth. It's all ego. And you realize that, my choices matter. Every single thing I do matters. And then you effortlessly are doing your part to help the environment.
You make it non-violent, and that's what I love about what we're doing here. We're making, it's an eco-revolution, but we're not being violent with it. And once we look at food that way, let's not be violent to it and ourselves, people will start to realize, and it's a process. Just gotta be gentle.
Well, like Val said, the process is the beginning. So what I love about it too is that when you are in the process of stopping at a gas station, for example, and you're thirsty, and then you choose not to buy that water bottle, and you choose your alternative, all of a sudden the next time the process is easier and easier, and then everything starts to expand, and then you're just doing all of these revolutionary yet simple shifts that are going to help us just save the planet.
It takes 21 days for a habit to start.
Yeah,
so.
21 days for it to start, and then about 66 days to take the new habit into a permanent behavior. So, and that's what the course is. It's actually 66 days. Last 4 days are spent in silence and meditation, and then a party after that. So, one other thing, when you eat, can I ask, do you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
No, not all the time.
George, what do you do?
No, lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
Coffee, lunch, and dinner.
Coffee, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
Coffee's okay. Coffee's an antioxidant. It's just too much caffeine. But who
not
eats?
a lot. It's my ration.
Yeah,
I have to. That's how I talk myself into getting up. If you get up, you can have coffee.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have green tea. I can't do coffee. I'll be like,
oh, I love coffee. But when I was in China, my Tai Chi teacher was like, okay, you cannot drink coffee because of your Chi energy. So I was making tea, but then I was making coffee just to smell it, like George said. And it was ridiculous because I craved coffee. But now there's a lot of research showing that coffee is actually good for dementia and brain health. Again, if you're wired all the time from it.
It's all about moderation.
Yeah. I drink mine black, though, because the sugar is, I think, the worse than the coffee. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, so back to getting your nutrients in. I mean, listeners, how many of you guys eat 3 solid meals? I mean, people we don't do it. So drinking your essentials all the time is the thing I would love to ask you to do. So please take my oath. If you're going to listen to Catherine B. and the Eco Revolution, I would love you to never is a very long time. I would love you to try not to drink anything from plastic containers, and watch your friends and start counting and start seeing the amount of plastic. When you start watching, it's everywhere.
Take the challenge.
Let
us know.
I have a metal travel coffee mug, but it has a plastic gasket.
Oh.
The seal, the rubber seal on it.
Yeah.
It's rubber. I mean, I know.
Yeah.
But what about that? I mean, I guess there is natural rubber. Is anybody selling that? Coffee cups with natural rubber seals so that I don't have to worry about my plastic.
I mean, it's hard. I mean, George and I were at a restaurant, and I had my glass jar, and it broke on the floor. So, there are other alternatives, but glass is fantastic. The plastic is going to be there in the caps. Speaking of caps, that's the other thing about plastic water bottles. We don't realize that it's the caps to these bottles that are killing so many of the sea animals, the seabirds especially, because the mother birds get confused and they think it's food, and then they feed them all the caps. So if you are recycling, please tighten the cap onto the bottle. Don't just leave it out there. The smaller the pieces of plastic, the easier it is for the animals to eat. And that needs to go away too. That is, I think the plastic island reef now is the size of Europe. I've got to double check that fact.
Book some tours to it. Think of all kinds of activities you can do, like garbage surfing. We can do that.
Well, I think next week we're going to have surf riders, and we're going to be addressing the ocean and the coral reefs. It was supposed to be this week, but. I'm just glad that we got Val back. So we're pushing it back a week, but we're going to take plastic and see then what we can do on the next level. Again, we're not going to change overnight, and being a consumer is hard to be. It is hard out there, and especially when you're running big families and you have lots of people always around, it's tempting.
And this is urban, it's like fast paced, everybody's on the go.
Yeah, drive-through window, man.
Yep.
Yeah. Healthy places don't have drive-through windows,
right? Like Chipotle should have some drive-through windows, please.
But even the littlest thing, like looking at the straws and the paper, the utensils, just stop. But I'll be just happy if today you stop with the plastic bottles. And the other thing that you can do is to get these ceramic filter systems.
Oh.
Yeah, and they're really nice too. And I think next show or on my blog, which is katherineb.com, I will have probably the top 10 ways that you can filter your own water, ceramics and companies that will deliver. And I think that would be a really good post.
Yeah. I want to know more.
Okay.
How can I do this at home?
Yes. How can we do this at home?
Do I have to use my socks? I have socks. And rocks.
I don't know if I want to filter through your socks, George.
Well, I wasn't going to use my dirty socks.
Oh, okay.
Although after I filter a lot of water through them. And I have a yard full of gravel.
Have you ever tried to make water? It is really, if you want to start feeling sacred about it, try making your own water. It takes all day long, and it's
like condensing it or something.
Down here, taking the salt out of seawater. There's several different ways that you can do it, but
it's very painstaking.
It is. It is. Again, we're a convenience society, and we love our conveniences. Nobody wants to sit around, unsalting water to drink. But what if we had to? Does anyone even know how to do that anymore?
No.
Well, not on a big scale, but I remember high school chemistry and then and Boy Scout class. You can make with a plastic tarp, you can make a still, a solar still. Let's show you how to do that at the beach for taking salt out of water, or by boiling and then recondensing the water. You can rig a very primitive stovetop still at home and distill your own water, but it's not practical. So that's why I was asking, where do I get my water? And reverse osmosis systems are a little bit pricey, but I know that's the best thing. If you can swing that, that's the only way to get the fluoride out. For the people that don't want to drink fluoride. I don't want to drink fluoride.
I don't want you drinking fluoride either, but at the same time, I'd rather you drink tap water and the fluoride than put the plastic in the oceans and in your gut.
I agree.
So,
just swish a lot when you drink the tap water.
You can also put all these wonderful chemicals and water into your food if you're cooking. You can use the 2 gallons of water you need to drink a day, and you can make curries, or you can just get them everywhere. You can put it on your skin. You can bathe in it. Get it in and on you as much as you can. The other thing, do you know why photochemicals are so amazing? Because it's a new science. It's only about 10 years old, and it's like taking the blue out of a blueberry. The berry doesn't really do anything anymore. But when that blueberry skin is in your colon, that's where the magic is happening. And it's the same with curcumin. Most of these photochemicals are just there to help the plants not be eaten. And then the divine universe said, well, if humans eat them, mazel tov. I mean, it's good for us too, but they're not, the curcumin, which is the yellow, it's not for us, it's for the plant. So I think it's just really amazing when you have these thousands and thousands of chemicals, and we're finding now that they cure the cancers, they cure the dementia, they cure the bone disease. They are the medicine, and our food is lacking in them. Even when you make sure you're going organic, because, again, getting curcumin and turmeric into your body are usually from huge factories, and they are filled with pesticides. So, but when you grow the plant, did I cover this?
No, you didn't say what happens.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. All right. So all you got to do is go find some organic curcumin, organic turmeric, and it's a long, little, ugly root.
Where,
George, if you want to dig it up.
where does one find this? Where does one go to get that? A
Whole
nursery?
Paychecks.
Okay.
No, you buy it in a grocery store. It's got to be organic.
Can you order it online?
You could probably order it online. Yeah, that would be a great idea. But I like to look at it before I get it.
Because I can order tulip bulbs online, so can I order these?
The reason it has to be organic is that a lot of growers know that you're going to do this, especially with potatoes, so they treat them with another chemical that will not allow you to root it. So you just take your piece of turmeric and you look for the bumps, and you put the bumps up, and you cover it with soil. And if it's like an inch wide, you put 2 inches of soil on top of it. If it's a half an inch wide, you just double it and put that on top of it. Water it every day and wait a couple weeks, and it'll grow in a shaded area with lots of moisture and a little bit of wind. If it's in your home, put a little fan on it and love it and tell it how much you care about it, and it'll grow really healthy. And after about 6 months, 8 months, you just go in and you don't kill the whole plant, but you take most of the turmeric roots out, and then you dry them off, wash off some of the soil. Don't wash it all off. It's good for you. Chop it up. You can dehydrate it and make powder, or you can cook with it. And actually, turmeric, the plant, is very powerful without the curcumin. There's other wonderful things that the plant does.
Well, while you're pointing things out, I don't want to interrupt you. Did you bring the besides just because you wanted to give us some really nice stuff and show off? Is there a story behind the key limes and the eggs that you brought in?
They were just. I'm just spreading the food. I think
because it's beautiful, and I'm going to eat them.
Oh,
not all of them I'll share. Eggs tonight. Eh?
I make food baskets for my yoga students, and now you guys are my yogi babies.
Excellent.
So, it's just extra. And I think that's the other thing, especially living in Florida, we can grow so much food, and there's just one tree can load.
You're wasting an opportunity if you don't.
Yeah, 500.
If you have a yard,
Yeah, actually, I'm doing my first spiritual landscape design in about 4 years. I met this wonderful couple, and they're doing a food forest, permaculture techniques, water systems, and you can grow so much food down here. One citrus tree, when it matures, is like 500 pounds of fruit. And when you start giving food away, you start community. And when you start community, you start to love, and then it just expands. Food is everything. That's why I'm a foodie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you tell?
I like food. No.
That's the wine. So, I'm really excited to be back teaching and designing at the same time for these people who are getting it. Because when you look around at most landscapes, they are just there so that the landscapers don't get in trouble. They give you the most horrible invasive plants like ficus and all these things that will grow, but you don't really want them to grow to their full size because they're hard to handle. So
They had some on the property. Yeah, they're intrusive.
Yeah. Well, and the landscapers put them there because they know that they're not going to die, no matter what you do to them. But that's all got to go out. That's old school. That's old school. New landscaping. You should be able to grow food, make it still look beautiful.
That's what I mean. Like, everything, I should be able to walk by my trees or whatever and pick something to eat from it.
Yep.
I should always have something.
Yeah.
Bananas.
Yeah.
I love bananas.
You can also learn how to do guerrilla grafting, which is really fun, especially if you have trees that are, like, a lot of people don't have land, but say that you have a beautiful, healthy tree and you learn how to graft, which is actually pretty easy. You cut one branch and then you wrap it and you put willow on it, which is like a root hormone. And you leave it for about 6 months and there you're growing fruit off of a non-fruit tree. So there's all these things that we can do to get more beautiful organic food in our bodies without paying the outrageous cost at the stores. So think about planting and think about food is fiber and water is nutrition, and grow your own. Get back to the garden. Like Crosby, Stills and Nash said, it's going to set your soul free just to see either the garden in your mind or the garden that you actually could really start on a terrace or in some land or on Jasper's farm.
Besides apples, what can't we grow down here?
I grow apples. Peaches? I got the sweetest little apples.
Really? Yeah. I didn't think I thought they had to be cold.
They do. They need chill hours, but you can put ice around the trunks.
Oh.
Yeah. Or luckily, we get they only need 100 hour chill under 40, so we usually get it. Okay. They're not like you're going, whenever you're taking a plant out of its regular space or zone, you don't get as much fruit, but they're amazing. Peaches, apples, pears.
You grow peaches down here?
Yeah.
Plums? Ooh, I love plums.
Yeah.
Plums are yummy, yeah.
Well, anyway, so your next food basket will be filled.
Well, I mean, I can't make I took home ec. I used to know how to make pies, but not anymore. So, we make lemonade out of the key limes? What do you do?
Yeah, you can make lemonade. You can also use it as a great dish soap. Just mix it with salt. Yeah, if some of those lemons are a little old, so they can be a little acidic. So what you do is just use the juice, mix it with salt, and do your vegetarian dishes with it. Scrub them with that, and it's incredible.
Great.
Yeah, and that's another chemical that's not going into our water system. And if you like salty lemon, you can even lick it.
Yeah, well, I got some tequila that makes it taste way better.
You can do the dishes. Dish scrub and tequila. We are talking about drinking today.
I was looking for an excuse to open that tequila bottle there. I got all these key limes. I don't know what to do with them. Somebody will come over and help me. I got salt.
Lemon drops.
Yeah.
Tequila
lemon
drops.
But,
cute.
You also want a little of the pith. That's where a lot of the nutrients are.
The what now?
The pith, which is the white part around when you take the skin off.
Yes.
So.
Never heard of that.
The pith. Yeah, so anyway, take the diet course. It's going to be starting in April. We'll be doing a webinar, listeners, if you're interested. It's 8 weeks, and it addresses all of the ways you can go back to nature, get healthier, and help the planet. It's what I love to do. It's my passion. And it's a revolution starting inside with sacred activism. I want to thank Val again for the wonderful sacred activism workshops, and I hope I see you guys on the Zen Cruise.
When is it? I forgot.
I don't remember either. March
3rd to the 7th.
If you go to Val's Facebook and you put in Catherine with a C, Atherine, you get a discount. And go to the cruise.
So you can Google that, the Zen Cruise thing.
Yeah.
You just Google Zen Cruise and it'll pop up.
You got it.
And it sounds exciting. And where does the cruise ship go?
I think it goes to Mexico.
This year. Val, don't kill me.
You're in trouble.
I'm in trouble. I don't even go to I just stay on the cruise. I love the vibe so much. I just love what's going on. I'm in my own bubble. But last year they went to Jamaica, and this year
Mexico.
Yeah. Yes, Cozumel. Thank you.
Yeah, they're going to Mexico.
So, yeah, well, thank you, everyone. And so excited about next week. We're going to be taking on the oceans. So,
is there a guest?
Yes, we are going to have... Oh, actually, that's the week after.
Okay.
Let me get my schedule, and I will Facebook what's happening next.
because you got fans out there that that want to know what's in store for next week.
Well, my dear friend's father passed away, so we're just trying to reschedule. Thank you so much again, and love SoFlo Radio. Love you, Sunset. Love you, George.
It loves you.
We love you. You teach me so much.
Oh, thank you. Please spread the word. No plastic. Okay.
No. Take the challenge.
Take the challenge now.
21-day challenge.
This is dedicated to my brother. You know why. Love you, Jimmy. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to Catherine B. and the Echo Revolution on SoFloRadio.com.
Streaming live from the beautiful city of Hollywood, Florida, USA. This is SoFloRadio.com.